Welcome back to Arbitrary YouTube channel. In today's class we are going to be learning how to make this beautiful rose design that we see on this blouse. It's a simple DIY and it's beginner friendly. If this is something you like to learn, kindly stay tuned to the end of this tutorial. Thank you. So to make this rose design that we have, you first map it out on wherever it is you want to place it. In this case, it's going to be on the chest area and the front. So what you just need to do is to create that spiral design of how it's going to go. It's not showing very well on this fabric. Let me just use this tool. Okay, so basically you just need to keep drawing the how it's going to go, how big you want it to be. You just keep drawing this spiral design on the chest line where you want to paste it. So after mapping out the area that you want to paste it on, you just simply take your tape now and then you measure around that space so that you can have an idea of how wide or how long it is. So for me, that's about 30 inches on the chest line that I have drawn out here. That's what I marked. So now that 30 inches, remember you are still going to gather it a little bit, so you can just multiply by 1.5 and then you cut out around 45 inches, and if you want it bigger you can multiply by 2 and you cut out 60 inches. So you go ahead and cut out your fabric. I have about 60 inches here. That's the length of this fabric that I'm working with. So the actual fabric looks like a foam material. You can use scuba for it, but I'm using satin for mine. So if you're using fabrics like this and you feel that it's not puffy enough, what you can do is just to insert a crinoline in between. But for this tutorial, I'm just going to work with the fabric as it is. So now on one end of the rose, you're going to put it on fold like this. That's the side that is going to be inside, okay, the inner part of the rose. You are going to trim it down a little bit. So here you can just divide the 30 inches by 4, and that's going to give you around 15 inches. So from the hem here you can measure around 15 inches. So we just want to shape it. So this is just a guide. It doesn't have to have a particular measurement, but I just want it to have something to work with. So from there now I'm just going to mark it to the hem like this, just to taper it around so that that inner part is going to fit better. You don't want it poking out. So after marking it like that, I'll take my scissors now and then I'll just try to trim it down and then blend everything properly. Okay, so now that we have trimmed off that part, you can see now that it is smaller. So this is just so that it can fit into this inner center part. I don't want it poking out. So, and this other side is still the original measurement. I used around 5 inches on fold. So by the time I open it out, it's going to be 10 inches. So what you just need to do now is to pull them over again, and then you take it to the sewing machine and run your stitches. Okay, so if you have a weaving machine, you can just leave this, you can just close this part and the other part and leave this inner part open. Then after you turn it out, you weave it. But for me, I'm just going to sew everything, then turn it out before I gather. So you can see now that I have gone ahead to sew it and I left this small space to turn it out. So I'm going to flip now and turn it out, and then I'm going to go ahead and run my gather stitch on this side. Okay, so after turning it out now, I just wanted to run a gather stitch now, and then I'm just going to gently gather it back to the 30 inches that I marked here, so you can see. So I'm gathering now. Okay, so I've gone ahead to gather it. So after gathering it on the hem, on this narrow hem, I felt it was too small for me, so I just cut out a little bit from it so that I can have something longer. So if you want it to be small inside there, you can just maintain what we had, but I just cut around 5 inches. Remember, we went in by 15 inches. So I have around 55 inches now and not 60 inches because I want it to be a little bit longer on this side. So now after gathering it to what we need, I'm going to bring in my main bodies and then I'll start to sew. I'll look for the smaller one, which is this, and that's where I'm going to start. So here I'm going to start to sew from here like this, and then you continue sewing and then you keep wrapping it. Remember I said I'm using a satin fabric. It's very thick, that's why it's taking this form. So you should use like a foam fabric, or you put crinoline inside this. So after sewing it, I'm going to try to flesh it out like this. Okay, I did not iron it, but because of the nature of the fabric, you can see the crease line, it has already formed on its own. So you want it to be really puffy like this. That's why I said you can put a crinoline inside it, or you just work with a fabric that is puffy, like organza, like scuba, like foamy fabrics that's not going to be flat for you. So after sewing mine, I'll just try to just push it out like this so that we can see the effect that this is going to give. So now I'll take it to the sewing machine now and then sew around like this, following this spiral design that I have here, and then I'll take it to the mannequin so that we'll see what it looks like, because this is a DIY and I don't want it too long. Okay, so this is what it looks like. So you can see this part that I did not flesh out, you can see that it's just straight, and you can see how puffy this other side is. So once it's puffy, it tends to cover up the seam allowance that you use to sew it down here, and you can also make the spiral close together so that this seam allowance is not going to show. But if assuming this also pops out, it's going to meet up with what we have here, and everything is just going to cover up. So you should use the right fabric for this so that you don't have something like this. You want it to be puffy just like what we have here. I hope you enjoyed making this beautiful tutorial with me. If you enjoyed it, let us know in the comment section. Like, comment and subscribe to our channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.